Now, your Storm Track forecast first.
Areas of rain continuing to move in as we track the next system moving across now central Kansas and expanding into our western viewing area here shortly. But all areas will pick up additional rain as we head throughout the evening and tonight. Scattered showers and thunderstorms could last as late as about midnight for the eastern counties, then partly to mostly cloudy late tonight, but much cooler. How long that next round of chilly weather lasts, that's coming up.
Now on KSNT News.
Rounds and rounds of heavy rain pound northeast Kansas, and now people can't even stay in their own homes.
They had the alarms going on from the fire department, and the police officers were out here and they were knocking on people's doors.
And now there's rising concern about what more rain could do.
It was getting kind of nerve-wracking just knowing that it's flooded before.
We take you live to the hardest hit areas as we track what the next few hours will bring. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jace Mills.
And I'm Brooke Lennington. People all over Kansas are dealing with flooding. It's forcing evacuations and even shutting down roads.
This is video from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Flooding shut down part of the Kansas Turnpike south of Wichita near Wellington. Officials say it will stay that way until the water recedes.
And we have our own threats here at home. We have full team coverage tonight and in Topeka, Emporia, and Manhattan. And that's where we find KSNT News reporter Dan Garrett and Kelly Saberi and meteorologist Andrew Adams. But first, we start with Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Matt Miller. Matt, what's the latest?
Well, we remain under a flash flood watch for the entire area through the early hours tomorrow. We are just at that point where everything is completely saturated, and any additional rain, which there is more moving in right now, just turns into complete runoff and runs straight to the streams, the rivers, which are already at least running abnormally high, and several of them above flood stage. And so we really can't stand any more rain to come in. But unfortunately, we do have another area of scattered showers and storms from just to the west of St. Joseph through Holton, back to about Wamego, Manhattan, and then down into western Morris County. But then west of there, a big area of rain. And that's really what's moving in as we track this area of widespread showers and storms. It's not as big of an area as it was last night, but it will still produce some moderate to heavy rain. We'll likely see another ½ inch, maybe some areas 3/4 of an inch of rainfall out of this as it moves in tonight. Not as much as we had last night, but again, all of this is just aggravating already flooded areas. And you can see everything in light green is the flash flood watch, but every single one of these dark green areas are rivers that are running above, if not completely out of their banks at times. And so that's why we have so many flood warnings across the region. I had video sent in from one of our viewers of the Wakarusa River. You can see it out of its banks, out into the wooded areas around it today in southern Shawnee County. So again, lots of these creeks are out of banks, some of them not impacting anything other than perhaps a small country road. However, others are starting to impact larger areas and getting into some of the more populated regions, as we saw this morning in Manhattan. Here comes this next burst of rain this evening. Future track showing it moving to the east, most areas by 10:30 or 11, and then out of here shortly after midnight entirely. And what comes in behind it is much chillier weather. We'll talk more about that coming up. But again, watch out for the potential for flash flooding this evening and into the early part of tonight.
Yeah, and some people in Manhattan are having to stay at hotels tonight. They woke up to a notification telling them to evacuate because of flooding at Wildcat Creek. You can see some video of that now as it goes beyond its banks and lots of debris floating in that water. KSNT was first on the scene this morning, and now Dan Garrett joins us live from the creek to tell us what people need to know tonight. Dan?
Jace, Wildcat Creek has been receding all day, but now the rain is starting to pick up again, which could be an issue for later. Now, earlier this morning, the creek was getting close to coming over the bridge on Scenic Drive, which called for the alert. And since this morning the water has gone down a few feet, the emergency manager for Riley County is keeping a close eye on the water levels tonight.
There's still a chance of rain. We're looking at somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch of rain. It could come down as a real small rain or a mist, or it could be just all at once. And if it comes down all at once, we could have problems here again.
Now, some other parts of the area are in a flood watch as well tonight. And now College says they want to keep a close eye on this so they can alert people as soon as possible if the creek starts to flood. Now, Storm Track meteorologist Andrew Adams is in Emporia keeping an eye on things. Andrew, how's it looking?
And I'll tell you what, I'm at the Cottonwood River in Emporia. The water level has really risen thanks to all this rain over the last week. I don't know if you can see behind me, but lots of people coming out to see this. Right here, usually a bit of parking lot. Even further past that, where you see some of that rushing water, that's usually a spillway. No more spillway, nothing but floodwater ripping through the river, and floodwater still rising enough that they have a portion of South Commercial Street in southern Emporia closed down, actually good portion of it. You can see it right on Google Maps, and this is all thanks to the several rounds of rain that we've seen in the last week, and places here in Lyon County that saw a few inches, up to 3+ inches in the last 24 hours from a heavy system overnight. So water levels, especially with more rain on the way, expected to rise. And I saw some people when I first got here wading into the water. I'll go ahead and tell you, that's something not to do. The line between where the water is calm and where the water is not very calm is not big enough to want to take any risk for that. So best thing to do, just stay out of the floodwater. Live in Emporia, Andrew Adams, KSNT News.
All right, thank you, Andrew. And this week's rain is also taking a toll on Topeka's rivers and creeks.
Yeah, KSNT News reporter Kelly Saberi is live at Shunga Creek to tell us what caused sewage to leak into the water. Kelly?
Brooke and Jace, the rain has led to possible contamination in some areas, and the city of Topeka is asking people to avoid contact with local waterways. Today, crews repaired a broken sanitary system here on Randolph that caused untreated sewage to reach Shunga Creek. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment says people should use common sense and avoid taking a dip in these local streams or bringing pets over there. It's a problem they say is all over Kansas.
It just overwhelms the ability for the soil and the ground to soak it in, and our own infrastructure gets taxed to the maximum with having to deal with this much volume.
There is so much water flowing out of the Kansas River, it's hard to wrap your head around. But get this, according to KDHD, there are 375,000 gallons of water trying to flow under the Sardu Bridge per second. Live in Central Topeka, Kelly Saberi, KSNT News.
All right, Kelly, thank you. And our coverage doesn't stop here. Be sure to join us for KSNT News at 10. We'll be keeping a close eye on those flooding conditions in Emporia.
And we'll also be live in Jefferson County, where water is rising at Perry Lake. Until then, remember, you can get all the alerts, watches, and warnings sent straight to your phone by downloading the KSNT mobile app. You can also go to ksnt.com. New at 6, a Topeka man will spend 10 years in prison for his role in a deadly Lawrence shooting. A judge sentenced 23-year-old Ahmaud Rayton, who you see here in Douglas County Court today. The shooting happened in October of 2017 on Mass Street in downtown Lawrence. Prosecutors say Rayton and 2 other men started a fight that quickly escalated. 2 men from Topeka and a woman from Shawnee all died in that shooting. In November, we told you a judge declared a mistrial in the case after a legal issue came up. Because of that, a judge ordered all 3 men to stand separate trials. Dominique McMillan is serving a 6-month sentence for battery. Anthony Roberts Jr. is facing murder and attempted murder charges. His trial will start next month.
There's a push to get kids interested in science and technology in Kansas, but some say students don't have as many options to get involved as they should. KSNT News Capitol Bureau reporter Alec Gartner takes us to the State House to find out what brought robots into the rotunda.
Sounds of gears shifting and metal clanking echoed throughout the State House Wednesday. Groups brought hand-built robots, some weighing up to 150 pounds. They say it's to shine a light on the industry in the state.
Kansas is what I would refer to as a tech state. I mean, we've got all the Garmin avionics, and we've got all the airplane design and down in Wichita.
Bob Rencher is a mentor for the Paola Panther Robotics Club. He says while some high school students are playing sports or participating in theater, there are students discovering the world of robotics.
This is an activity where everyone you see can turn pro. There's literally enough openings in engineering and technology.
One of those students is Isabel Ure.
It's a lot of fun and a lot of hard work.
She says being in the group is teaching her a lot more than robotics.
I learned how to use power tools and how to weld. And this year I'm the president, so I learned communication skills.
Groups traveled from Newton, Salina, Overland Park, and Lawrence, each a member of FIRST Robotics. Organizers say teams rely heavily on donations from companies, but say it's important to show lawmakers what they're doing.
Best thing that they can do is get behind it and say, hey, this is a great program. We support it. On top of that, money's always nice.
Those involved say if Kansas doesn't begin teaching students more about robotics at an early age, it will fall behind other states. Reporting at the Capitol, I'm Alec Gartner.
And from the State House to the operating room, robots are also changing the way surgeries are performed.
We take you inside a Topeka hospital to get a look at the cutting-edge technology they're using. That's coming up.
Later in sports, K-State brings in another transfer running back, plus a local athlete signs to play basketball at Washburn. That and more in 15 minutes.
And tonight we are tracking more rain moving into the area. We've been watching this area of rain off to the west, developing that large area you see between the Abilene area and White City and Morris County, moving up into southern Geary County. Rain moving into the west side of Manhattan, as well as some showers to the north around Havensville and Holton. More and more rain through the course of the evening. How long the chance for showers and thunderstorms will be with us, that's coming up.
Now, your Storm Track weather with Chief Meteorologist Matt Miller.
Rain expected through the early part of tonight. Unfortunately, all of it will be just runoff. And so the amount we get, about ½ inch to maybe as much as 3/4 of an inch, all problematic. Then we get much cooler air moving in for the daytime tomorrow, and still mostly cloudy, but nice weather on Friday. A little chance to dry out. Limited amount, but we could see a few showers on Saturday. And aside from that, the rest of the weekend looks pretty good. Now here's a look at the rainfall since Sunday, and this is really why we have had such a problem. Southern counties have seen 4 to 6 inches of rain pretty much everywhere in that purple or maroon color. That's all 2 to 4 inches of rain, and some locally higher amounts north of Clay Center, about 4 to 5 inches of rain. And that puts the entire area still under a flash flood watch through tomorrow morning for that potential of additional flooding as this next round of rain moves in and enhancing this evening right across our area with another good soaking rain before it exits on out. You can see some heavy rain developing over Morris and southern Geary County, pretty much all of the Dickinson County down into Marion County. All that's lifting to the north and east and will be moving in. This falls on areas that already today we've seen 2 inches of rain at Manhattan, 1.5 inches at Fort Riley, and just shy of 2 inches at Emporia, and about 1 inch at both airports in Topeka. And now the cloud cover building back in, a few showers near Junction City. It is raining lightly, at least in some parts of Manhattan, starting to pick up a little bit heavier now, as well as that rain's moving through. And see the clouds building in over Emporia and Topeka. We'll expect more and more rain to build in as we head through the night, or at least through the evening into early tonight. And temperatures right now still holding in the low 70s with a southerly wind at 10 miles per hour. Again, we picked up 1.14 inches of rain today, but highs did still make it up to 73 after the rain. Even with the cloud cover, temperatures were able to moderate at least back pretty close to average. But here comes this much cooler air. 50s, Concordia, Clay Center, and Marysville. 61 at Riley, still 73 at Paxico. And that cooler air will be moving in as the winds turn to the north and northwest and pick up to about 15 miles per hour tonight into tomorrow. One little wave of this system's moving through. Here's the backside of the storm system over the Four Corners region. It will slide through but have very limited rain for us. It will help to reinforce the cool air after tonight's round of rain moves on out. The next system approaches, it keeps us cloudy most of the day tomorrow. Maybe a few sprinkles or very light rain showers, but a noticeably chillier day for Thursday with those north winds around and then clearing out by Thursday night. Just how much chillier? Well, even tonight into the morning tomorrow, when you factor in the winds, look at these wind chills. Many areas look like now could fall into the low to mid 30s for what it will feel like tomorrow morning. But with 50s in the afternoon, still a breeze blowing through. We don't factor a wind chill at that point, but just a noticeably chillier day tomorrow. Tonight we drop back to mid 40s, rain early, then turning much cooler, and then you tack on that wind and it feels even cooler than that. Don't forget, you can always head over and have radar and hourly weather conditions and forecast up to date at any time. Download our KSNT Storm Track weather app. Temperatures tomorrow, 40s and low 50s with a constant northerly wind at around 15 miles per hour and the high only reaching 54. 20% chance of a few sprinkles tomorrow. Most of the rain is early tonight, and then we dry out Friday. Beautiful day with a high of 65. Few scattered light rain showers on Saturday, mid-60s again, but a gorgeous Mother's Day, partly cloudy and 72 and upper 70s by the early part of next week.
Well, I tell you what, at least next week.
Yeah, chance to dry out. We need that.
Yeah.
And quite the cool down tomorrow.
Tomorrow is heavy jacket weather in the morning, that's for sure.
Pull those out. We'll stick
Find
around.
the gloves.
Yeah. Stick around. More KSNT News right after this.
News.
The surgery requires a steady hand, and new technology is giving the phrase nerves of steel a whole new meaning.
About 8 months ago, Stormontville Hospital in Topeka got a cutting-edge surgery performing robot. People got to take it for a test drive today. The robot gives surgeons precise movements and a 3D high-definition magnified vision.
What this does is allows us to do more complex procedures that we were not able to do before, and do those procedures through smaller incisions.
And you can check it out for yourself tomorrow at Stormontvale. Oh, look at which KU basketball players are heading to the NBA Combine coming up.
Plus, K-State brings in a transfer running back from a Power 5 conference.
Now, sports with sports director Pete Francis.
The NBA released its list of combine invites. 3 Jayhawks received invitations. Dedrick Lawson, Devon Dotson, and Quentin Grimes all earned the invite. Lawson is expected to remain in the draft, but how well Dotson and Grimes perform at the combine could have a big impact on whether they return to KU. K-State did not have any players receive an invite. A local athlete is joining the Washburn basketball team. Shawnee Heights' Quentin Donahoe made it official, signed to play for Brett Ballard and the Ichabots. For Donahoe, it's always been a dream to play college basketball.
I'm pumped. I think it's so cool to be able to play at the next level and all these opportunities. The first day I went, I liked the culture. I've known about Washburn's culture forever because I know guys that have played there. The coaches, I've met Brett before. He's a solid guy. I know he would shoot it straight with me about playing and all that, so that meant a lot. And the facilities are nice, great campus.
Washburn taking care of its backyard. Donahoe joins Hayden's Levi Brown, who also signed with the Bods. Running back Jordan Brown is transferring to K-State from North Carolina. He is immediately eligible. Brown will be expected to compete with Ball State transfer James Gilbert for playing time at the position. Brown ran for 347 yards last season and 3 touchdowns for the Tar Heels. He averaged 4.3 yards per carry. That's a look at sports. Matt's back after the break with the final look at the forecast.
So Matt, which areas do you think will get hit hardest tonight?
It's really kind of the central and southern portions of the area as the rain's moving in. We continue to look for areas of scattered showers and thunderstorms moving in from the west. So the central and southern counties with the greatest chance for those showers and thunderstorms to continue as we head throughout the night. You can see some of the heavier rain over Morris County, southern Geary County, and then on up to the north and east toward Jackson County as well. Looking ahead, 54 tomorrow, but sunny and 65 by Friday.
All right. Thanks for watching KSNT News at 6.
We'll see you at 10.